Getting invited to speak, I instantly said yes. Then, starting to think about it, now what do I do? What do I say? This is supposed to inspire people to something. And what did I do? I can't really write speeches, so let me tell you a bit of my story. I'll give you 9 years of my life, short version. A bit of the good and a bit of the bad. TED Talk, inspirational pep talks and success stories, how I started my restaurant with 2 olives. But can it really be done, and what really is the cost? Well, I have good news and bad news. The good news is I believe it can be done with not too much of investments. There's always a cost of living, of course, but investing into starting something up. The bad news, it always comes with a price. The cost of success varies, of course. Someone once said it's lonely at the top, and sometimes the most expensive price is walking a long journey alone. Losing friends along the way, losing family along the way, but your dedication to your passion, and it has to be a passion, will take time and take you some places far away, hard to keep in touch with everyone. And even if you try to prevent it, some might get lost on the way. Even the best of plans and the best of intentions don't work out the way you want to. And not all rewards need to come or will be coming in cash. Now, how's that for inspiration? But it needed to be said. It needs to be there. There's always a price, and it can't stop you on your journey. Nothing comes for free. It's just the currency that changes. My name is Peter Hogel. I'm a Swedish wildlife photographer in Uganda, running a tour company and a lodge. This is my story, the good parts and the bad. 14 years ago, I actually came down to Tanzania as a tourist. Dedicated wildlife photographer, going on safari. Whatever could go wrong. 2 weeks and 10,000 photos later, I knew I didn't want to leave. This is what I wanted to do. I've been traveling my whole life. London, New York, Berlin, Australia, Costa Rica, Cuba. There's a long list. But every time I go away and you come home, it gets harder to get back to 9 to 5. Well, I did come home with friends, new friends in the luggage, drivers and guides for my trip. And, well, you know how it is. You leave someone your phone number, you leave the contacts. It takes a day, and the first text comes. Mr. Peter, come and work with us. Well, a couple of years later, I did. I decided to give it a shot. Now, here comes the first hard decision. After a divorce, my kids are starting to grow up. Can I be away at all at this time? Can I just pick up and go? Well, I know ex-wife and kids have a lot to say about this one, and so does my conscience. And did I do right? My demons of rights and wrongs. But here I am. I packed my camera, got ready to go, and I shut down my studio in Stockholm. The idea was go for 3 months vacation, try this out and see how it goes. Backup plan, I can always go back to my life as it was. Well, 9 years later, that didn't happen. So there I was, dressed for success. I was going to be a tour guide in Tanzania. Of course, coming down to Tanzania, I had a little bit there. I had my friends waiting for me. And so I didn't totally jump on board with nothing. Someone was expecting me. But I got my laptop, my computers, dressed for success, started up my social marketing, and it kind of worked out. Shortly, I had my first clients coming down. I did have 30 years experience in photography. I had my camera equipment. Now, we said starting up with nothing. Now, of course, what I also had gathered along my life journey. It wasn't invested to go to East Africa to start a tour company. So a lot of it I actually already had. It's, you know, if you start up something, you start up with your plans and your organization. You may be starting up at home in your garage. Years later, you won't say that your house and your garage was a big investment, but that's where the story starts. That's where your journey starts up. Well, it was not that I didn't bring much. I had a little bit of a backup. I had about $2,000 backup. Not to invest, but as a backup. It really was a make it or break it. I did start up with a bit more than the 2 olives, but not that much. So my first point, we didn't have anything. We got our first clients. There was 2 friends coming down from Sweden. We rented a tour card, got paid in advance, booked the hotels, and the first trip was on. Everything went smoothly, and we had a bit of profit to go with it. 3 months later, second big decision. Is this what I'm going to do for real? Is this going to work? Well, I went back to Sweden. 4 weeks later, I had sold everything I had and was on a plane back to Tanzania. This is also where the first price was paid. I didn't know it at the time. Assuring friends and family, I'll be back soon. I will go down to Africa, I will do my tours, I'll come home during low season. 9 years later, I haven't been back yet. Not once. Not my plan. Family has visited, but it's now long between trips, their families are growing, it's expensive, and I'm still here. We keep doing what we do. Passion and love, of course. I met love. Someone that supported my work and what I was doing. And I definitely would not have made it without it. Fast forwarding a bit, plans don't always work out, and people don't always work out. With support with my new friendship, we started up a new company, a new tour company. And new decisions were made. We made to move it to Uganda. Now, occasionally we make carefully planned decisions. And on other occasions, we meet the right people. The right people with the right mindset, the background that leads you just where you want to be, where you're supposed to be. For me, it was Uganda. Now, remember, another point here is, a year ago, I came with my camera over my shoulder. Still no big investments has been made. We rent cars when we need them. Clients book with a booking fee, which would cover expenses needed to secure activities, accommodation. So theoretically, nothing was needed. Practically, well, there's a fee for registering a company, there's the websites to be built, boost a few adverts. Of course, you also have to survive, eat, and you have rent, other expenses. But a little bit, we did start up with nothing. We moved ahead. A year later, a lot of work later, we employed staff. So, of course, at that point, expenses were there. And I did say, start up with nothing, not run it with nothing. Now we reached a point that we either needed a company to succeed or we needed the money to keep it alive. Years to come wasn't easy. And I guess the inspiration here would be, if it was easy, everyone would do it. I would not have made it on my own. So running businesses has its ups and downs, always, of course. Now we had good times, and we had bad times. We had times we needed staff afloat, making private personal investments. We kept running. Now, today, I know where my decisions took me. I know where I am today. I'll never know where the other roads might have led, and I try not to think about it. Next life lesson in plans not working out. When you lose everything you have worked for, you're waking up one morning realizing you have lost the company and the rest of the life that you knew. Now what do we do? At this point, I was living close to the Congolese border. Loading up my camera, sneak across the border, leaving everything behind. Having one last hell of a trip with no return ticket. Seemed like a good idea at the time. But that one is another story, and well, I'm still here. I did find new inspiration in my life, and a reason why not to get lost in Congo. Sometimes you meet the right person at the right time, and well, the lava lake in Congo is beautiful at night, though, just saying. Now, with $12 left, kabisa, for my non-Ugandan friends means everything I had, right? I literally borrowed $20 to get a bus ticket to Kampala. Passion. We keep going. Don't give up. Now we start over from nothing. A rough year ahead, trying to start up a new company, not so engaged, didn't work out. But I had one thing going for me. I had my name. The tour company I used to run, now the clients didn't relate to the company name, they related to me, to Peter Hogel, the photographer. Lodges and people in Uganda had started to get to know me. I got a few tours going, lodge photography. The year worked out. Of course, an accident doesn't come alone. Corona. Now we are all suffering. No traveling, no tourism, no photography work, no money. With help of friends and family, I saw through another year, which turned out being one of the best ones. Now, I said earlier, sometimes you meet people, the right people at the right time. Just before Corona hit, I had, through my photography, met a man who were to become my new partner starting up a new company. So here we are, we have fast-forwarded 8 years of sufferings and hard work, losing everything and starting over. So my last year of this story. Now this time was a bit different. We basically, in one sitting in Kampala, we decided over lunch to start up something. Let's start up a tour company. A man I had met once, and actually I didn't meet him on a good note. I came with a claim, but we hit it on directly. We had so much in common. We're talking business. We sorted our differences and we moved on. A week after the decision to do something, I went to Kenya. Corona came, I was locked down. I was basically shut down. I was in Kenya for 9 months. And that's when we carried and delivered our new tour company. If starting business is difficult and challenging, imagine starting up a tour company and getting that idea in lockdown. Well, WhatsApp, phone calls, emails started to flow, new logo, new websites, branding, building a solid base. 9 months later, I was back in Kampala meeting my new partner for the third time. I hardly knew what he looked like. Of course, some money needs to be flowing through. So back to registering company, website, online meetings, online tourism expo. All in lockdown, no traveling, nothing. Now, we are actually growing, not in capital, but connections. Travel agents around the world has got to know about us. We are building our connections all over. We are making a name even before our first tour. Marketing, dedication, and passion. Keep going, and a fair bit of whiskey on late nights. Now, the success story. Well, there was a bit of capital, well invested in the tour company, ending up becoming Sayari Safaris, tours company and a lodge. Our name is growing, our platform is growing, tours and accommodation, and the world still don't travel. Of course, this ends up in a cliffhanger. We are back to make it or break it again. Clients need to come back. We need to open up the world. We need to start traveling. And we need to stay healthy. Now, we need either capital to keep us running, or we need clients to come. Failure, not an option. We keep our passion. We keep going with all means possible. Sometimes we can use what we have to start up something great without a lot of investment. Of course, there's a cost of living, but starting up what you work with, what you want to do. Now, sometimes all we need is to meet the right people, the right friends at the right times. We will always need passion, especially when people say you are wrong, when people don't believe in what you are doing, and you may lose a lot along that way. We keep going and keeping that in our hearts, and we need to find joy in things that doesn't cost much, that doesn't have a price. For me, a glass of wine, sitting in the sunset, watching the elephants pass by, and someone that you love and who supports you, because you will always need support around you. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.